Okay, so again, like today is gonna be, it's nice to be very casual. I don't have like a script. I jotted down some notes on my phone. But I want to start out with just some shout outs of Success Club. And I remember Allison last week saying like, oh my gosh, we have so many people that hit Success Club and it's just blossomed. So let me just pull out my little phone note here. Okay, so I have 16, Allison has 14, Sierra has 8, Jason has 7, Jennifer Tenney has 6, Gina has 5, Amy has 4, Lindsay has 4, Mary has 2, Kayla has 2, Daniela has 2, Cynthia has 2, Christina has 2, Ange has 2, Hannah has 2, JC has 2, Joy has 2, Angel has 2, Lacey has 2, Tracy has 2, Sabrina has 2, Paige has 1. That's a lot of people. That really is. And you know what too, like I was thinking about, I don't know, like I've gotten like emotional this month because it marks my like 1 year being a coach, and that's just kind of a crazy feeling. It really is. And I look back at, gosh, like what's happened in that year, and I'm like blown away. Just of like how I've changed as a person, not saying that like I'm doing crazy awesome in this business. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like how I have changed as a person and how I've connected with so many people, like through Beachbody, through our coaches, through like challenge groups, all that stuff. And I'm amazed every day. Like I sign on to the challenge groups and I see these like men and women pushing so hard. And I'm like, yep, this is why I became a coach, to watch that. So I'm going to share a little bit about kind of my story. And I think maybe just Allison knows this, of like how I really got into Beachbody, but it's funny. Like Mark he mentioned Beachbody. I had no idea about Beachbody. I think the only program that we had purchased, and this was probably like, I don't know, 5 years ago, was P90X. And funny thing is, I bought that for Mark for Christmas off of like eBay. And this goes to show you that stuff is CRAP, because if you purchase off of eBay or I don't know, Craigslist, whatever, you're going to get junk. The DVDs were all scratched up. So we really didn't give the fitness program a fair shot. Meanwhile, flashback like a year ago, Mark, he coaches basketball, and one of his students' dads was a Beachbody coach. And he always kind of like talked to Mark about coaching because, Mark's an athletic guy, he's into sports and stuff, and kind of always try to get him to go to his house to go to these like Shakeology parties and stuff. And I don't know, Mark just like, he kind of brushed it off or whatever. And, Mark's a nice guy. He was like, oh, well, just email me or something like that. And then like he was saying stuff because I had just had Luke, I don't know, Luke was like maybe 5-6 months old. I'd already gone back to work. I like hated leaving them, my kids again, like, my second baby, I hated doing that. And I hated the family time that I was missing. And I was like, well, maybe I could make this work. And here's the funny thing. Okay, so Allison and I were nurses at All Children's together. Okay, we were both in the NICU, both worked resource. I had never met her. I met her one time in the NICU. We had split a shift in CVICU. I'm sure it was like a crapshoot that day. And that's how I met Allison. And I talked to her like, I think I might have actually friend requested her because I was just, I don't know, like wanted to connect with her. And then I looked at her page and I was thinking, oh, well, Allison's a coach. And honestly, guys, the reason that I jumped on board, especially with Allison, we're different, but we're the same. Like I felt comfortable with her. We connected. We were both nurses. Like we had that common ground. So I was just like, screw it. I'm going to just purchase a challenge pack and I'm just going to go full force and bam. So that's kind of like how I started. And I don't mean to like put anybody on the spot whatsoever. And you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to. And I promise I won't do this like every Zoom call that I host. But I thought it'd be kind of fun to just like go around the room and just remember back that day that you signed up to be a coach. And what sparked your interest to be a coach? Was it maybe you love the fitness programs? Maybe you were just surfing the web and you saw some cool graphics about, I don't know, like a attractive guy or attractive girl, and you realized it was Beachbody. Maybe it was a lifestyle. I don't know, what was it? And then tell me, this is kind of interesting too. Tell me if you had ever met your upline coach before signing up to be a Beachbody coach. Okay, so got it. So what attracted you? And then also if you had ever met your upline's coach before actually signing on to be a coach in person. Okay, so we'll start with Jason.
Am I muted or unmuted?
No, you're unmuted.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. Well, what attracted me was P90X. I saw that back in like 2008. I saw the webinar, and it looked a lot like boot camp stuff. So it was a little different for me when I got started back then. I think that was really one of the primary programs at P90 and then P90X. So I don't know. I saw it, and I remember seeing the infomercial. And I wasn't like, I never really disbelieved it. I was just like, that looks like real. I mean, you can't fake push-ups, pull-ups, stuff like that. I mean, it just is. It works. I thought that looked really cool, like boot camp stuff. So I got started. That's when I had just moved from Maine to Florida. It was like December. And I went online. I just searched in like P90X reviews. I wanted to see what people were doing. I was a couple weeks into it. I was feeling pretty good. I just started at the Red Robin there in Fort Myers after transferring. So everything was just kind of getting set in my life. And I searched P90X reviews. I found a blog that popped up. I don't know if it still exists or not, but it was fatlossblogger.com. And it was just this, it showed up on Google. It was one of the first things I found. And that happens to be, that's the person I signed up with, but I didn't realize, I didn't know anything about this really. I knew network marketing sort of, but I didn't know that, what it was as a business model. So I saw the opportunity. I believed in P90X. I didn't quite know about the company Beachbody yet, but I knew P90X worked, and I was ready to share that stuff. And I saw the be a coach thing, and it was just like at that time in my life, I was ready to make a huge change. So I just took the gamble. I went for it. And for time's purposes here, I spoke to my sponsor maybe like twice, but not when I signed up. I just saw the link and I just went for it. So I didn't understand the structure of a downline and all that stuff, like I tried to explain a couple weeks ago when I hosted. So yeah, I have very little contact, but that's why it's great to have a team, have an upline sponsor, but it's not necessary if you want to build this thing. So it's not a reason to not do anything. So anyway,
Thank you. Thanks, Jason. All right, I'm going to unmute you, Allison. You're up.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. So actually, you would put me after Jason. So Jason is my upline coach, and I met him when we were working at Red Robin, and everyone was like, "Oh, this new guy, he works here. He's so cute." And I was like, "I don't see any cute guys around here." And they're like, "Yeah, that little guy over there." I was like, "He's a loser." And then one day, I was like, all right, whatever. Maybe he's the cool guy. So I was like, hey, do you want to go get some sushi for lunch? Because we were on the same shift together. And he's like, yeah, that sounds great. And I was like, okay. So lunchtime came, and Jason's not anywhere in the building. This jerk comes back with sushi for himself. And so I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. So finally, he decided to sign up to be a coach, and I basically was still stuck on the fact that he was a loser and was never going to make it. And I was like, I can't even believe you're doing that. That's like complete BS. And so the thing that attracted me the most was the lifestyle that Jason was living by being a coach. And so I was like, well, if this loser who's been my best friend for like 12 years now can do it, I guess I could probably do it too. So that's kind of I decided to sign up. Plus, I was really, really, really depressed and anxious and extremely overweight. So I needed to do something about it. So you can lose weight, you can make money. And that is how I signed up a year and a half ago.
Thank you, Allison. Okay. Mary, you're up.
Actually, whenever I signed up to be a coach this time, I realized that I had thought about it in 2011 because I already had my Beachbody account and all this, and I had went to Moms Can Be Fit and done a challenge, and then that's where I met Marissa in a squat challenge. And one day after lifting, I think I used 20 pounds for the first time and squatted something. That's what they told us to use. And she messaged me like 5 hours later and asked me, hey, how'd you like the squats this morning? And so of course I smarted off. And anyway, and then we just hit it off. She could put up with my smart mouth, and anyway, she took it. And then that was like on a Thursday, I think. And then by Sunday, I asked her, I was like, hey, what does it take to be a coach? And she thought I was joking. And I thought, you know what? The only thing I haven't tried was, because I had some Beachbody programs. And so the only thing I hadn't tried was shakes. And I thought, I'll just do it. And if I like it, I like it. And there I am. And no, I didn't meet her before. We just met at a challenge group, and I still like her. So there you go.
Thank you, Mary. All right. Jennifer, hey. Can you hear me? She's like, do you want to talk? I think you're on, I can't hear you. Can you? Oh, she's like, okay, I'll come back to you. Gina, hey, you're up, girl.
Hi. Well, it took me a little while to become a coach. I think I signed on with PIO Challenge Pack with you, like in April. And you kind of had mentioned it to me a couple times, and I think it took till like, I don't know, September, October that I figured, what the heck, I might as well get a discount. I've been drinking the shakes for all this time, and I didn't really plan on being quite active, and then I just kind of saw, you know, what the team's all about, and just loved all the people on our team. So that's kind of where I was at. And obviously you and I know each other from working in the NICU and Allison, but we kind of hadn't, I mean, I hadn't worked there in like, what, a year and a half or so. We hadn't talked all that time. But, yeah, I don't know.
Awesome. Thank you. Jennifer, can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's funny because you're like sideways. I'm like, what's going on? It's okay. Okay, there we go.
Okay. My phone is acting weird now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I had my baby last year, and I've been watching actually you, Stephanie, over Facebook for a whole year, seeing how fit you've gotten and the camaraderie you've had with everyone. And I'm like, I kind of want that. I kind of want to get fit, and I want to kind of join in with all the friendships that you created. So I contacted you, so I'm like, I'm a little jealous, saying like I'm fit. And I am so thankful that you're just so kind. You just have such a loving heart. I love you so much already. And just met so many people like you and other people. They're just so supportive, and that's why I became a coach. And I hope to help my sister. Hopefully she'll come around.
Awesome.
But I guess good thing, after like a week and a half, my husband, he's been drinking the Shakeology, and he lost 4 pounds, and I lost 2 pounds. Yeah. And he even cheated. He drank beer and ate cookies, Girl Scout cookies. I'm like, wait a second, you lost 4 pounds.
That's awesome. Aw,
Yeah.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate you opening up. Thank you. And let's see.
Yeah.
I have some phone lines who I don't know who they are. There's a couple more. I'm just going to, I think it says Tom's phone, actually. Let's unmute you. Tom, can you hear me? Hang on for 1 second. Hey, Tom, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, do you mind answering the questions?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
What were the questions again?
Okay, so I just asked everybody, like, what sparked your interest in becoming a coach? And then I was also wondering if you've ever met your upline sponsor before actually signing on to be a Beachbody coach.
My upline coach is Charles Leslie, and I actually met him at Summit a couple years back.
Okay.
So he actually signed me up before I had met him, and he was just showing me the presentation, and he was kind of just showing me how much money I could make with Shakeology. So that was like kind of like how I got started. But my why is more deeper now. I want to quit my job, and right now I'm doing a 25K, and then I'm in different various running groups. So just putting out the word that, you know, I'm a coach, and I just want to help people get off the couch. And I like how Jason, I liked his lifestyle. Like, his cars are paid off, and I see his house, and all that stuff. Is like, if he can do it, anybody can do it. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay. And then there's one more phone line. Let me unmute it. It's an 813-443 number.
It's Ramey, Steph.
Ramey, hey, I'm so glad you made it.
Sorry that I came on a little bit late. It was bath time.
No, you're okay. Did you hear the questions?
I sure did.
Okay.
I actually never met my upline, who's Stephanie. We talked on the phone a few times before I joined. And I was actually under someone else when I signed on to be a coach, who I had known since high school. And her coaching style is different. Every coach is very, very different, but there is no interaction. There's just a lot of pushing product and a lot of cold calls, a lot of, I don't feel there's a lot of support. And so you have to find what works for you and what fits your personality type. And when I met Stephanie through Carrie, and Carrie actually came to my house to buy a piece of furniture. I met Carrie online. That's kind of our story. Yeah. And I fell in love with Stephanie's personality over the phone. She was very supportive. She was not pushy. She was not any of those things, which we all know. But she asked a lot of questions. You know, what was my why? Why do I want to do this? What were my goals? You know, where do I see myself in a month, 3 months, 6 months? What do I want to gain from the program? Things like that. And I really enjoyed that aspect of her wanting to know my story and wanting to know where I wanted to be.
Oh, thank you so much, Ramey. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I'm going to mute everybody again. So, like, the real reason that I wanted to bring this up is because I want you guys to never forget your why. Never forget that feeling that you had when you decided to pursue coaching. Like that just excitement, because let's face it, day in and day out throughout our lives, like, we might lose it a little bit. We might have an off day. We might have like a really bad day. I don't know. But never forget the reason and your why behind that reason of becoming a coach, because you are able, and everybody on this call has shown determination that, first of all, you're on this call for a reason. You want to grow your business. Never forget that. Never forget that this opportunity is huge. And I feel like I'm a baby in this business, because I feel like this can just explode and I have so much more to learn. But I know that I have great support in my fellow coaches and my upline coaches, upline coaches. Like, I feel like there's so much support, which I think is a huge, huge thing. So I just jotted down some, tips that I got off of another training video. And it's just like, it's 5 tips to help you stay on top of your business. And this, guys, I mean, you might think, oh gosh, we've heard this stuff like all the time. But I think it's great to sometimes bring us back to basics and just realize that this business, like, we are given everything. We're given the direction. It's up to us to actually pursue it. So the first tip, it's so simple, right? Push, play, drink Shakeology every single day. Like, wake and shake, guys. You know, make sure you're getting your Shakeology down every single day. If you notice that you, for some reason, are backed up in your shakes a month or so, there's a problem with that, right? I mean, maybe you bought an extra supply for like your own personal, like, to give out. But if your personal order is backed up, there's a problem, right? Because we need to continually be proof that the product works. We need to be drinking this. We need to be living this lifestyle. We need to be working out. We need to be constantly working on ourselves, okay? The second is, we've heard this over and over again too, is personal development. You know, our readings, maybe you're a book person, maybe you're not. You know, have you actually, oh, this is so weird. What am I seeing? Sorry, I got distracted. Can you guys still hear me? Yes? Okay. So like something flashed on my screen. Sorry. Maybe you have a lot of books on your shelf that you've always said, oh, I'm going to read this personal development. I'm going to read that. Maybe you've never completed one. Well, there might be a problem. Or maybe you're just not a book person. Maybe you're more of an audio person, like hearing it. Maybe, I got this tip from a different coach, and I think this is a great idea. Literally, this is what he does. He can't stand reading. He hates reading, okay? So what he does is right when his phone goes off in the morning to wake him up, he has earphones right beside his phone. He plugs the earphones into his phone, puts his earplugs in his ears, and he jumps on a series of, like, he's got YouTube videos that he watches, or maybe it's a podcast or whatever it is. He listens to that. I'm sorry, not watches. He listens to that right as he's waking up, as he's going to the bathroom, as he's brushing his teeth, as he's blending his shake or making his breakfast. Think of how much time lapses between there. There's at least 10 minutes, right? So bam, if you're struggling with that, try that technique, right? Or maybe, you're driving to work. There's plenty of like podcasts or, apps that you can download on your phone to listen to a personal development series. Okay, so third tip, and I think this is really important for us to all do in our business, is to start collecting stories. Start collecting stories of, maybe it's a stay-at-home mom. Maybe there's a stay-at-home mom coach on your team that you can share their story with. Maybe there is a student. Maybe there is a full-time working parent, or not even parent. Maybe they're going to school. Maybe they have a lot on their plate. Maybe they're planning a wedding like Allison was doing, building a house, whatever it is. Have a story, so you can share. If someone that you're speaking with shares that same situation, you can be like, oh, hey, you know what? Like, that sounds so familiar. Oh my gosh, there is a chick on my team. She's a mom of 4. She works part-time, and she's able to grow her business. Like, you can share those stories. So that's really important. And I also want to remind you guys, everybody on this call has a story. Everybody. I don't care if it's as simple as, oh yeah, I've been drinking Shakeology for 7 days now, and this is what it's done to my body. This is how I feel now. I've been on this fitness program for a week now. This is what I've noticed. Everybody on this call has a story. I don't care how simple or how small it seems to you. Maybe that story that's small in your eyes is huge in someone else's eyes. Maybe the person that you're speaking with or having a conversation with wants to hear those small little stories, because that's where they're at in their lives. That's how they can relate. Like, oh gosh, yeah, maybe they can't relate to this like person that's tackling it all. Maybe they want to hear like, hey, what happened to you the first week you drank Shakeology? And everyone should be able to tell that story. The fourth thing, make friends. Guys, this business, our business is social media. So what does that tell you? You have to connect with people to grow this business. You have to. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. Tell your story. If you are not posting on your Facebook page and sharing your story or little bits and pieces of your life every day, your business, and I don't want to say it's going nowhere. I don't want to say that, but it's not going to grow at the speed that you might want it to grow, because this is what happens. Let's say your goal is to connect with, add 2 to 3 people per day to your social media, and that's a good goal, right? Okay, so you add these people that you have no idea who they are, and you're not posting your journey on your wall. They're gonna be like, oh, I don't even know if this chick's or this guy's a fitness coach. What the heck? They're just posting a random picture of their dog, or I don't know, their mother-in-law, whatever it is. They're not going to know that you're a coach. You have to be willing to put yourself out there and share your stories. My gosh, there have been some amazing transformation stories even within our coaching team as a whole. Don't be scared even to share like your fellow coaches' stories. My gosh, I threw up Sierra, and I hope she can listen to this recorded call later. Her amazing transformation story, her pictures before and after on my wall. People love that stuff. That is huge. And try to think of what you are going to promote the upcoming week. Because I was thinking in my head, I'm going to promote a challenge group. I want to definitely reflect my post in that manner. I want to put tips about, or put little, sprinkle in little details about my personal fitness journey, or transformation stories, or Shakeology, or challenge groups, whatever it is, the upcoming week you're gonna promote for. Try to think about that in your weeks the week before. That's a good tip. And then also, I read the statistic that 80% of coaches are promoted via social media. So that means 80% of coaches probably have never met their upline coach before they signed up, right? Like some of us are even saying like, I've never met my coach. So that shows you this business is huge. You can reach people all over the US. You can reach people all over Canada. It's going to soon sprinkle into other countries too. And the internet is huge. So there's immense opportunity out there. One thing that I heard too, and I don't personally have Twitter, maybe some of you guys on this call have Twitter. One of the coaches does this to kind of open up conversation and connect with new people. What he does is he goes on to Twitter and jumps onto a conversation. So he basically and I guess maybe there's a search bar or something. Again, I'm not familiar with Twitter, and he puts in a topic, jumps in this conversation. So in this conversation, let's say it's about, running, okay? Maybe it's about fitness shoes, I don't know. And he's connecting with this person, giving them recommendations. Oh yeah, I love this new Nike pair of tennis shoes that I bought, whatever. He's never saying, and please don't ever do this, don't ever jump into a conversation and say, hey, join my challenge group. Hey, join my team. Oh, no, that's a turnoff. Don't ever do that. Again, this business is about forming relationships. And let me tell you guys, I have done that in the past. I have flat out, for someone that I don't even know, tried to just push her into coaching. That was a turnoff, right? Because you have to get to know these people first as a person. You want to truly, like Rami was saying, connect with that person and figure out what their goals are before you can really help them. And you know what? They might not be into coaching, or they might not be at this moment into a challenge group or fitness program. That's okay. Get to know what their goals are, what they want. And then you know what? If they're not right now, jot their name down on the list and you can contact them when they're ready. Or maybe they'll even contact you. I will say this also. I've added a ton of friends since I became a coach. I became a coach exactly a year ago, and I had 500 friends on Facebook, and now I have 1,900 friends. That's a lot of people. Now, that being said, I do definitely share my journey. Maybe when I first started coaching, I didn't share it very well. It took me probably a few months to really share it well. But now I have people that are actually private messaging me, asking me, hey, tell me what you're doing. Oh, gosh, I saw your post about that fitness program that you were doing with your husband or whatever. Or gosh, that's so cool that you can work out and be with your kids. Or what were you drinking in that picture? Seriously, I have people I don't know, maybe at least 3 people a week that private message me. I have no idea who they are, and I'm able to now connect with that person because they've been watching me. So that's the beauty. That's why I'm trying to really push this of wholeheartedly sharing your journey on Facebook. Let me bring up my phone again, sorry. Okay, so the 5th tip was invite. Maybe you're scared, maybe you're afraid. Again, just get to know those people first. Develop rapport, develop trust with those people before you actually jump into inviting them. Strike up a conversation. Maybe it's not even related to Beachbody. And this is going to happen normally over maybe 2 to 3 days. You're typically not going to find that cold market person that you're speaking to for the first time on a Tuesday and they're going to purchase on a Tuesday. It doesn't typically happen like that. It typically happens, and it might even happen weeks or maybe months down the road. It takes a little bit of time. But the beauty of this, if you're connecting with people on a regular basis, bam, that magic is going to happen throughout your journey. I promise you it's going to happen. So don't feel like those people that aren't like ready or jumping on board right now are a complete wash, because they're not. They are going to remember that Mary Harper talked to me and spent time with me and had conversations about what I wanted to do, how much weight I wanted to lose. And gosh, I didn't feel like purchasing or wasn't ready at that point, but I can guarantee you she's going to connect with or contact Mary Harper when she's actually going to purchase, because she spent time with her and cared about her. And then also I wanted to say this too. Sometimes, we get wrapped up in this business. I hope I have enough time to finish. We get wrapped up in this business and we feel like, gosh, I'm putting so much effort to it, nothing's happening, or I'm not really like adding value to someone's life. I need to stop you right there. If you are in a challenge group, you are adding value every single day to someone's life. Whether it's go girl or way to go or awesome job, those little comments feel great. This might sound so silly to you, but even when I post, maybe someone else, you can relate to this on the call. Even when I post a picture of me working out and I see someone just say, awesome job. I'm like, oh, heck yeah. Like someone really cares about me. That feels good. So don't lose track of your challengers. They are such important people, and we got into this business to help people. So constantly support your challengers, check in with them. It's okay if they're not posting every day in our challenge group. That is fine. People function differently. But you know what? Maybe if you haven't seen them post in like a few days or a week and they normally do, hey, send them a private message and just casually see how they're doing. Because your challengers are typically going to become your coaches, especially if they're falling in love with the program and the products. Okay, so let me just quickly tell you this too, because Allison and I have been working on something really huge, I think, in my eyes. And it's going to be for next month. It's going to be a free group for anybody that wants to join. I highly recommend you to join it. It's going to be all about success partners. So and let me tell you, I'm going to just briefly share a little bit about me and Allison, because I feel like we're very similar, but actually we're very different in aspect. Like when I first connected with Allison, she was engaged. She's obviously much younger than me, much prettier than me, much more athletic, I felt like, than me at that time. She didn't have kids. Me, on the other hand, I was married, I had kids, I was tackling worrying about going back to work again after my second, maternity leave. But we shared a love for fitness and health. We were both nurses, so we did have that connection. But we also shared this crazy drive to grow a business, and we were just full force into it. Didn't care if we had to stay up till 1 a.m. My gosh, I remember filming those videos for our coach training. And I would, text message Allison, okay, 15 more videos to go. When do you want to get this done, sweetheart? We pushed. And I think that it's important to find someone. They don't have to be identical to you, but they need to have a similar drive. Okay. So my suggestion, you might have someone in mind that would be a great success partner for you. My suggestion is be open to maybe connecting or even willing to be paired with a different person that maybe you never thought of before. Maybe your coach or even your upline coach might see something in a different person that you might connect with. So I just want to leave that, out there with you guys. And that's pretty much all, I guess, that I had to say. I'm just looking over my phone really quick. Yeah, that's about it. Does anybody have any questions about, maybe it's even a struggle you're having this month, or maybe it's just a question about what we've talked about? Anything at all? You can raise your hand. Good. I'm gonna scroll through. No. Okay. Well, thank you guys for showing up for our Zoom call. And I definitely recorded this, so I'll post it in our team pages. And have an amazing night. Good to see everybody. Bye.